never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are ya? How are ya? How are ya? Friday. Thank the Lord for that. It's been a 24 hours I could have done without, to be honest, but it is what it is. How's your day going? I trust if you're in the southeast corner, you managed to stay out of the rain that we've had today. So there was some absolutely teeming rain on the roads this afternoon. I was called out to go and do a couple of different jobs. And I wound up on the north side of Brisbane, and on the way back, the rain absolutely teeming to a point where many people were pulling over. It was just too much for them to see through. Not for me. Plowed on, got new windscreen wipers. We did all right and got home safely, thank the Lord. But yeah, been an interesting 24 hours. And joining us tonight to explain his last 24 hours, the waving wonder himself. How are you, buddy?
G'day all, how are you?
Your last 24 hours has been very busy talking with people, left, right. You're ploughing your way through the South Australian candidates. And I mean that in a purely interviewing type sense.
Oh, good. You mean I didn't get the tractor out? Actually, the latest person I spoke to is Rebecca Hewitt, who was kind enough to come on. She's number 3 on the Senate for One Nation here in South Australia. And
Roger that.
She raised some interesting facts that we'll get into later tonight. But ploughing probably is not relative. I mean, I've got a couple more interviews lined up, but it's very hard to get the candidates. They're all out and about doing their stuff. So that's something that's very difficult to do, but I'm hoping that we're starting to make a difference and let people see what's going on.
All we can do.
That's one part. The other part was that last night at the My Place event, I did lower house preferential voting.
Oh, I bet people were glued to their chair with that, mate.
Well, they were, because I put glue on the chairs.
That's the spirit. Unlike the Labor Party, who just puts it on the ballots. That was a joke.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, well, it's actually funny because we lost one ballot in the mix and eventually found it again. So it's quite funny to watch. You'll have to
was it found underneath the Labor representative's chair?
No, it was just mixed in with the wrong pile. It's like two papers stuck together. It can happen, and there's a good explanation as why and whatever.
How good that you had a scrutineer there to catch it.
I did, but they missed it. Yeah.
Oh,
we figured it out when we got to the end of our papers, because once we laid out the first count, we knew we were one short because there should have been a set number, but we were one number short on that number. So we knew we'd missed one somewhere. And like in real life, if it had been a real life situation in the polling booth, they would have had to go back through every single paper to find that missing one. We didn't do that because otherwise it would have taken another hour. So effectively, we did that. The photography, I did 2 cameras positioning shot, and it wasn't until I started watching back the video you get to see the back ass end of me with half of my head in part of it, because it wasn't properly lined up on the speaker. It was more concentrating on the whiteboard in the back.
I'll teach you about cropping. We'll be able to take your head out of it.
Right, I can crop myself right out of it, but that's no. It's a production by an amateur, so let it go.
It is what it is. So
it is what
generally,
it is.
Generally very well received. And did people were they aware of how this worked, or did you get pushback again? Oh no, Vince, I think you've got that wrong. I've been voting all my life and I haven't figured it like that. Or were they genuinely interested?
Yeah, so we got another session happening tomorrow afternoon at Shearers Hall here in Manham. I'm doing a second one. And hopefully that one's not going to be recorded because I've already done the major. I just got to trim it all together tonight. So last night's was sort of a trial run. Most of our My Place crew and a couple of other people that came and visited. And yeah, they were quite impressed because of the way it was done. They thought that it explained it really well. So, and also how the preferences can make and break an election, right? So, yeah, I think it went well. And I think hopefully the video will get out there. It's sort of a tofu field without the marbles. yeah.
Yeah, and a
It's
lot
real
less air.
paper. Right. So yeah, so we're
Very
just
nice.
we're gonna work on that. But
I want to say hi to Sandy from the Donkey Sanctuary, the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary. She's maybe back with us. She was off going cooking tea. Whatever she's cooking, it will be soft because Sandy's lips are going through a bit of a hard time at the moment, and it's got nothing to do with Baz, I'll be honest. This time, she has a skin cancer here. Right in the middle of a bloody lip, or I don't know if it's a skin cancer. Certainly, they've biopsied it for that particular reason. Now, she sent me a note the other day and a picture, but I won't show you the picture because it's around tea time and people might get a little. But sorry, Sandy, it's not that bad. But she's wondering whether or not there are any remedies that she hasn't been made aware of. Now, they're obviously going through the motions at the moment to find out through the biopsy whether this is a spreader or a sticker. Let's pray that it's just something quite benign. But please put Sandy in your prayers for this. She should know further next week. But there are some oils, black seed oil I've heard about, and I think Sandy has some of that. There are a couple of other oils that people are using to treat those sorts of skin spots. If you have any suggestions, throw them up in the chat here, or please email me, carl@vofhq.com, and I will send that through to Sandy ASAP. It's just such a bugger, but it's something that we all have to be very aware of, and I guess particularly for folks who are working outside on the land. You're always out there. Your skin's being dried out by the elements. You're in the sun, even if you've got the hat on. And I know Sandy does wear a hat, but not all day, every day, occasionally, or, shit happens. So keep yourself covered. Wear the hat, I guess. And if you have any other ideas, mute my phone. Horse paste. Yes, I think we might be trying a bit of horse paste.
Apricot seeds also mentioned there, but be careful because they're full of arsenic. So that one's got a caution with it.
Yes, you've got to be very careful with those sorts of things. And at the moment, I reckon it's probably going to be topical rather than an internal kind of a thing. So if you've got any thoughts or ideas on that, please pass them along. We would love you to do so. And you could also help the Donkey Sanctuary out by buying a ticket in our lottery, which is just grinding along. $2.
Grinding? I wouldn't call it grinding, Carl. More like if we had a snail, the snail's won by 5 furlongs.
Yeah, not going well. All right, so $2 is all the ticket costs. You can buy up to 20 of them. It'll really help. And what we do is we split the money with the wonderful folks at the Good Samaritan Donkey Sanctuary, and hopefully can help buy a small amount of hay or get one hoof cleaned when the vet turns up next time round. So every little bit helps. So if you can help contribute, we really would appreciate that. Rachel, hope you're going okay. She hasn't been around for a while, she said in the chat, but I've been getting pictures, and looks like you and the hound are doing pretty well at the moment. Life, the universe, and everything is kicking along. I've had some people contact me regarding the cruise. I saw what they're there. So as far as I'm aware, you can still get tickets on the cruise. It's May 4 to May 8. It leaves from Brisbane. It goes to Airlie Beach and comes back again. I think the boat is called the Carnival Encounter. But I have noticed in the last week or so that a number of union officials, I say that very officially, have turned up at one of the carnival boats that is moored in Sydney at the moment, or was for the last few days. They've been trying to get on board to see the working conditions of their members. I don't know how many Filipinos are members of the MUA, but apparently there are some people who have to get on the boat to help it dock, and they are members of the MUA. And because they have to get on the boat, the union believes that they have the right to access the boat while it's tied up, the ship, and make demands, I guess, on the shipping company. So the shipping company has pushed back. They have disallowed anybody from the unions and, in fact, the New South Wales state government. They sent down their biggest thugs dressed in their brightest high-vis and hard hats to say, you can't do that to us, but the boat people did that. So is union strength in this country starting to fall over? The MUA is part of the CFMEU, after all, one of, if not the most talked about unions in the country, and they don't seem to be able to hold enough sway to get onto the boat. What about untying the boat? What about the tug operators? What about everybody else involved in supplying the boat? I would have thought if these blokes really wanted to exercise their power, they would be stopping that sort of trade, anything getting onto the boat and stopping it being untied. Their members obviously wouldn't go onto the boat to do what they had to do. And the legalities, I guess, of being able to berth in Sydney in Australia is that you use some Australian workers for something. So I don't know. What do you think? Are we going to get on our cruise, Vince? Not that you're coming, but are we going to get on it, or are we going to be waiting for somebody to untie us at the dock?
Well, you might have to be untied at the docks and try and float your way up there. You might not have any diesel to do it with, mate. And just to answer your quick question, which was this one, it's 50 chains. There you
50 chains in a furlong. How long's a chain?
No, 50 chains in 5 furlongs. 10 chains to a furlong.
So how long's a chain?
The chain, 22 yards from memory.
Cricket pitch.
Yeah, I think so. I think a cricket pitch is 1 chain.
Right, there you go.
Don't quote me on that, but that's from memory. I had to pull that part out. The other part I looked up. I cheated. So right, and also please remember, like and subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more this gets out to people. So please do so, because Aussie Sue's there. Carl was blocked.
Now, I'm not saying is Wanda saying I was blocked on Pornhub for extreme content, or that he has been blocked?
Well, it might be both. It has to be both, because how would he know you were there in the first place?
I've never been there, and I can honestly say that hand on heart. I have never been to Pornhub ever.
This is us
I'm not into that.
Trying to get Carl in trouble here. Okay,
I've never been into that kind of thing for whatever reason. I mean, it probably explains why I don't get too many girlfriends either. But you got to be out there looking, I suppose. That helps. And the ones I tend to find, I've got to go and put in hospital. That's another story.
All right.
Not for anything I've done.
Let's just jump back to Rebecca Hewitt, our One Nation candidate.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So that interview went for about, the 30-minute interview went for about 50 minutes, all right, which has just been put up. And if you're looking for that, guys, you can find a direct link to all of the interviews. Hang on, I've got to get on the right screen here. On this list, these are all the candidates in South Australia, right? And I've reached out to a few, haven't been able to contact some, but they're all laid out here. And there's our first senator from United Voice, Mark Aldridge. So got a chance to have an interview with him. And interestingly enough, I need to refresh a page because
your new one's not showing up.
Show that one.
Very good.
All right, so that's the one from today from Rebecca Hewitt, and me with my mouth wide open after she told me a couple of facts. One of those facts, which I will repeat very shortly, but this is the people that we've managed to interview. So we've got Angela Rojas from Fair Go, Serious Fair Go. Very interesting conversation, that one. And the One Nation people seem to be the ones who were prepared to talk more than anybody else. I've got zero reply from Labor. Not that I would expect that. Even my mayor is ducking me, so she's in trouble. And we did get one from one Liberal Party, and we've got a couple coming from the Australian Voice, etc. So if you want an easy, quick fix to go watch them, go to our fbnmedia.online website, and it's on the front page. Now, what Rebecca Hewitt brought up today was exceptionally interesting. She is a seventh generation farmer. Right. So her family's been on the farm for 7 generations. She informed me today that with all the solar panel and the wind farms and bits and pieces, that I suppose we should preface that. Do people understand what a pick form is? If you don't, a pick form is the animal passport, as Carl puts it, right? Which means that whenever your cow or sheep goes somewhere, where your livestock goes somewhere, that gets all tracked, right? And that goes all the way right up to when it goes to sale markets for sale, etc. So she informed me that on the pick forms nowadays, when you're sending a cow to market, if that cow has been grazing around solar panels or wind farms, you need to mark it on the pick form. And then at the sale yards, you get a lesser price for that animal than if it was free range grazing away from solar and wind farms. One has to ask the question now, why? Why would they get a lesser price? What the is going on here? Sorry, what the is going on here? It's like
I haven't seen Pete. I haven't seen Pete from Pinaroo, and he doesn't really raise too much beef. I mean, he's got rumpy and sirloin, but they're raised for personal use. Yeah. And I don't think, well, I know that Pete doesn't have any solar or wind on his property. But if they're doing solar and wind, wouldn't they also be doing this with the high tension power lines, high tensile power lines? High voltage power lines is probably what the words I'm trying to say here.
They haven't, no, but it's interesting that they are. So does that mean that there's more energy being dissipated out of those particular areas in A, vibration for wind farms, and B, solar panels are pushing out way more EMF than we know, especially the big solar farms? So, well, and thank you, Black Sheep. I was right. Thanks. So,
and just between you, me, and the gatepost, next time I go past one of these solar farms, I will employ this unit that Black Sheep sent me, which is a modern day Geiger counter, if you like. I don't know that you can see it. I can hold it in any way you're actually going to see it there. But the screen will, maybe if I hit the OK button, play.
Love that one from AJ Pipemaster. Thank you. But I'll also reminder the lottery is not available to Victorians.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Pipemaster. Now I know who that is. Thank you very much. Marvelous man that he is. I found out the other day who AJ Pipemaster is. Anyway, I can't show you this. I'm nearly getting it. But this will give you a little reading. So that's currently telling you the radiation that I'm being bathed with in front of the laptop, and 2 screens and associated other bits and pieces. It does tick like a Geiger counter.
So was that 120 or was that 12?
0.1, 0.10, 0.12.
0.10. And so if it gets up to 0.5, you're looking like you're in trouble?
I haven't actually got it to a point where it gets to screaming at me with the Geiger counter noise. It makes that Geiger counter noise. So I haven't got to that point where it's screaming at me yet, but it does give you a color indication. So if you're in a area that's probably a bit hot, if you like, with too much radiation, it goes red.
Oh, okay.
So you get an indication with that. But I have yet to go under power lines, like big, high voltage, long distance power lines, and do it. And I will go and find a wind farm and a a solar farm, and I'll jump the fence and walk around it and see what sort of readings we get.
Right. So next week we will have a news report where a person was caught wandering around private property and is now in jail for the next 5 years because he's trying to expose something.
No, I'm just not trying to expose anything. I'm just trying to learn. That's all. You know, if the little Geiger counter goes off in my hand, wouldn't you like to know about that too, officer? What about your children?
Yeah,
wouldn't you like them to know that the school you're sending them to isn't glowing in the friggin' dark?
No, wait. The police aren't that stupid, mate. They'd wait for you to hop back over the fence and then get you.
That's very true. Adi, you bring up a very good point. Canavan is kicking own goal after own goal at the moment. I am of the same opinion. He's attacking One Nation, which is, look, at best, poor form, at worst, boring, useless. It makes you look insipid and weak.
Not totally useless. It's helping One Nation.
Well, that's true. That's true. I guess he feels that the best the Nationals can do is steal votes from One Nation and try and recover the coalition support that way. Whereas he would do much better to focus on the Labor assholes and the Liberals, trying to hold them honest from inside that coalition he now leads half of. What do you think?
Yep. At this stage, I think they'd be much better trying. They're not going to come back from this in a hurry. There's no way I can see that they're going to come back from this in a hurry, which means that probably, this is just my personal opinion, that One Nation will become the opposition at least. I'm hoping for a lot more personally, even though I'm supposed to be taking totally unbiased when I'm doing all my interviews, and I try to stay that way. But in this situation, if One Nation, so they need to learn to negotiate with One Nation if they want to have any sort of a semblance of the ability to do anything or pass anything in the future.
We're still 2 years away from any, major federal election. Yes, we do have, we're days away from the South Australian election, and we are months away from the Victorian state election. So a lot can change. Now, we've got, along with the two state elections, we also have the by-election for Farrer, which is coming up in the next week or two as well. That looks at the moment like the new bloke for One Nation that they've put forward for that seat out of Jerilderie, and he's a fellow who's had a lot to do with the irrigation requirements of that area over many, many years. He's been a landowner, business owner, so he's actually done shit in the community, and he's highly respected in it. So One Nation have really got themselves a top-line candidate to replace the white lady funeral director that has now gone back to her original calling somewhere in the Albury area.
You still haven't given that up. I love that.
The only reason is I can't remember her name. And
Susan
you would think,
Lay. I mean, how can you forget Lay? Like, she just laid down and died, effectively.
She just lay over and let Labor walk all over her. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Now that we've got that in my head, I'll never forget it. But yeah, I genuinely don't remember her name. So, and that is in and of itself a very telling factor as to why she's no longer leader of the Liberal Party, or in fact in it. Because, like me, many people found her forgettable. If she'd had have come out and done something that was memorable, rather than just fall in line behind the Labor sycophants and nod her head and agree with them, and then stand up in front of us and tell lies, because that's whether she knew she was telling lies or not is irrelevant. The perception of everything that came out of her mouth was it was untrustworthy. As untrustworthy as the government she so willingly was supporting in opposition. So I would like to see Canavan and Angus, what's his name, come out and start really pulling the votes away from Labor, rather than trying to drag down the One Nation vote. Sure, over the next couple of years, they will be able to claw back people from the polls, people who've said, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote for One Nation next time round. Well, it's a long way between here and the federal polling booths. And I've seen polls in the morning on polling day that say, yeah, I'm going to vote for so-and-so and so-and-so. And I've seen the results at the end of the day where so-and-so and so-and-so didn't get anywhere near the level of support they were supposedly going to get. People will tell lies because they don't want confrontation. So if you go to a pollster at somewhere and say, oh, who are you going to vote for? They'll look around and see, oh, the Labor guy or the Liberal sign over there. They'll very rarely tell you who they're actually voting for. But I can tell you the One Nation voters will. And now they've got to contest with Clive Palmer as well. Clive's new day or new dawn or new bloody waste of time. Yeah. At least he's standing for one seat.
This is three elections now, and every election it's been a different party. That
I think it's been 4 elections. There was the United Australia Party, there was the Palmer United Australian Party, there was the Trumpet of Patriots, and now there's this new day, new whatever it is.
I haven't even heard what it's called yet.
I'm not sure that it may not have had a name change as such, but he's calling it the new something starting with D.
It's going to have zero effect in South Australia because it's already way too late. As a point of interest, I don't know if it's going to show. It's not, doesn't matter, that's good. I actually have a Liberal how to vote card here that's been sent out.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I thought, and this is just specifically for my area in Hammond, but I thought it was very interesting to have a look because I just jumped on because every One Nation how to vote card that I have seen so far just has one written on it for the One Nation candidate. And then a message saying, please make sure you fill out all the other boxes because if you don't, your vote doesn't count. But this was interesting. So obviously our Liberal guy is putting himself first. The next person that he picks for his number 2, right?
The Labor guy.
It's the independent, right? That's right. One of the very strong independents that's running here. Number 3 is One Nation.
Wow.
I nearly fell over backwards. I honestly expected. And apparently, according to him, he didn't pick this. This was done by the Liberal Party group. They're the one who determines the preferences. So do Labor. Their group determines it, not the candidate, which is really interesting. So, and that is, if you want to find that as evidence, you can find that on the whole forum, which is also on the FBN channel, for the Hammond Forum, where they had 8 of the candidates speaking there. And you've got to go watch it. You've just got to love the Greens lady. She's brilliant, right? She's really good.
I saw something, a post came up after this event in Murray Bridge the other night that said the Greens candidate looked like she'd just come in from the bush and was using chewing tobacco all night.
Well, I've got to be nice because I've actually got her address. I've got to email her for an interview. So, she had some interesting things to say, and it's worth listening to it. That's
very good.
How
good,
non-political or partial is that?
So, fuel prices, what are they doing in your part of the world?
We're actually stuck at $2.19 for unleaded and about $2.35, I think it is, for diesel at the moment.
$2.35 for petrol today and $2.70 for diesel, I saw on the north side of Brisbane.
Really? Considering that the charts, where's my little thing here? I mean, petrol did go up for a while, and this is not the right window, bummer. Petrol did, oil barrel prices did go up, crude oil did go up for a while, but it's come back down and settled again. So why are we still getting price gouging?
Well,
Why
I
is
don't know
that
how
still
it's come
happening?
back down too much. It's gone. It's shot back up. It did go up to 120, dropped back down to 80. It's now at $96. So there is a bit of pressure on the oil prices. I don't know why. As I said last night, there's 1/5 of the world's oil supply. The world's, not Australia's. The world's oil supply has gone missing, and
Yeah.
there is still 80% of the world's oil free and clear. If we think about what we do and do it sensibly, we shouldn't have too many problems. The government today has come out and opened up the fuel store, if you like. They've decided they're going to put out, I think, 700,000 litres of petrol and an extra 500,000 or 700,000 litres of diesel. They'll be releasing that into the market at their discretion and through the dealer network that they believe can best service regional Australia, because it isn't so much that there is no fuel available, it is the fact that the supply lines are being stretched so badly, the trucks, because people have panicked and gone out, filled up all their cars, and like I said last night, there's some moron pulls up into a service station with 9 44-gallon drums and wants to fill up all those. Pretty soon, retailers will be forced to say, no, you can buy $100 worth of fuel. Now, I put fuel in the car yesterday. I put 16 litres in the car. It cost me $47 yesterday. And today I've used half a tank of fuel. I'm dreading going and putting fuel in the bloody thing tomorrow. But it's better to do it tomorrow than when the thing is nearly empty, you know?
Yeah,
so
correct.
I would say to you folks, go and top up. Don't go and panic buy. Just top up. So, yes, we're probably going to be topping up at the most expensive time.
In crypto, we call that cost averaging. So
Cost average. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Well,
buy it while it's cheaper and just buy in as you need to. All right. So, but
if we're listening to if we're listening to Donald Trump, the war is over. Well, if we're listening to Topher Field, there is no World War III. It's been put on hold indefinitely. You don't have to worry about anything. Donald Trump says the world, the fight is over. We've killed everything. Everybody who needs to be killed is dead, except the Ayatollah, who has come out today and made a statement. It went, oh, that hurts. And then he stopped again. Not really. He apparently put a handwritten statement out, which is not bad for a bloke who's supposedly in a coma with only one leg. But I got to tell you, folks, when I saw this meme, all I could think of was Ayatollah in a coma. Da, 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 da. That's what he is. Da, 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 da. Ayatollah in a coma. I mean, that's very disrespectful, but bloody funny, I thought. And the alliteration of whoever came up with
that up. How did you marry that up?
As soon as I saw that picture, that song came into my head. Blame It on the Bossa Nova from God knows what year, 60-something, I guess. Probably earlier,
yeah, I'm not going to even try and guess. The worst part is I actually remember it, so that's even more scary.
Yeah. Ayatollah in the coma. I mean, you just want to sing it. We should
short that one. That's going to be a short. You're going to make that one a short.
Clip it. Is that what you say?
Yeah. Right. So, but
so let's check this out.
To the fuel, though.
Yeah, well, it does. So part of the reason that the fuel is going up is because the Americans are not or have not been able to knock out these underground silos, or as many of them as they would like. Clearly, there are still ballistic missiles being launched out of Iran, and they are targeting friendly, supposedly, Arab nations. Now, China has finally come out and made a statement where they have made it pretty clear to Iranian current leadership anyway. I'm not sure that it's the Ayatollah in a coma, but somebody in the IRGC, that the targeting of civilian assets in other Arab countries and the targeting of anything other than military is just not on. And of course, that includes blowing up ships going through the Suez Canal. Now, the Chinese are struggling at the moment with, of all things, fuel supply. Now,
Right.
I would have thought with a country that is pumping out as many electric vehicles as it currently is, there is so much evidence of queues for petrol, kilometers of queues, multiple lines pulling into service stations. The Chinese are panic buying, absolutely panic buying. And China gets 40% of its oil straight through the Suez or the Straits of Hormuz.
Okay.
So it is not in China's interests to have Iran blowing up ships in anywhere in the Gulf or in that area. So they are starting to exert some pressure on the IRGC to say, no. Don't be firing anything off at the ships, because if the oil stops, China's help stops. And you might find that Russia's does as well after that. And then where are you going to be?
I believe that it's already stopped, because all they would give him is moral support, remember?
Yeah, that and satellite tracking data and targeting data and a few other little bits and pieces. But yeah. So for those that aren't aware, it's been reported that a Thai-flagged bulk cargo ship was hit by projectiles and burst into flames. It was the engine room that was targeted by these projectiles, and there are 3 people presumed dead, I think, working in the engine room at the time. Now, yes, there was a bit of a fire, but what that has in fact done today is it has fired up the Thai government to a point where they have fired off they called the Iranian ambassador in and gave him a very stern talking to, and gave him a letter that basically said, we are now active participants. We will come to the aid of anybody who needs it in that area. If you continue to fire on Thai registered or anybody else who's going through there, we will be part of whatever happens to keep shipping safe. So now Thailand have made a very strong statement. Don't go blowing up our bloody bulk carriers. We've done nothing. And we'll see what happens. Also, the 2 oil carriers, which were blown up, parked side by side, which I have to tell you, folks, is not exactly what you would call good practice. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an international mariner, but the idea of tying up 2 super carriers capable of holding God knows how many liters, and it's not when they're full that it's the most dangerous. It's when they're empty, because of all the fumes and everything else that they have in those vented storage areas. If you get one spark in the wrong place, it's the fumes that do the damage. What we saw were tankers that had a fair bit of oil in them, and that was burning, surface burning. What we aren't seeing, funnily enough, is all this oil flooding into the Gulf. We're not hearing about major cleanups. We're not hearing about, all the environmental impacts. I've got a sneaking suspicion, Vince, the oil could be a lot. Got a secret for you, folks.
Someone broke an oil pipe.
Yeah. So AI, folks, that's how good it is. But they would have you believe that the oil is just under the surface of the sand. And why is it AI? Well, if it was just under the surface of the sand and it was flooding out like that, how long do you think it would take to fill up that little bowl that it was flooding into and make it to the sea? Do you think it would happen before they could put some sort of oil infrastructure and cap it and make it a well?
How would you cap it, right? How would you cap it?
How would you cap it? Yeah. And if you have a look behind it, the oil that is on the high side of the hole isn't rolling down. It's just it's just a black lake. So
there is so much AI now. It's like, what? Hang on, what's this, Crunchy? Translation, please. Translation for what?
What they're saying.
Oh,
in the video.
Holy shit, I'm rich. There you go. That's probably about it.
Quite possible. Anyway, back to this for a moment. As you can see, the way that the Iranians have dug these things in, and this may not quite be to scale because we're led to believe that some of these storage facilities are up to 500 meters below solid granite, and they've basically put mountains on top of them. The Americans and the Israelis, though, are as good as any Luke Skywalker X-fighter pilot, and have been able to put their missiles down the venting holes and into the... Anyway, whenever they're finding them, they're apparently blowing them up. Except Iran is now getting a bit smart and sending back their own messages. Vaccine for pedophiles, made in Iran. Now, that's the kind of projectile that went through the arse end of the Thai boat, just between you, me, and the gatepost. But it's not lost on me that the Iranians may have a sense of humor on their missiles as well.
Although, did somebody AI that? But anyway.
Well, they might have too. Somebody may have AI'd this. I don't know how much truth there is, but given, we've been talking about fuel prices, and the government has decided to release about 2 days extra worth of fuel. That's what's coming out of this great reserve of fuel. About 2 days, hundreds of thousands of litres of fuel, but it's about 2 days worth of national fuel usage. And none of it is being directed, as far as I'm aware, to major infrastructure like the trucking and transport of food. There is talk that there is going to be some sort of allocations purely for farmers, but farmers will have to prove that they're going to be cropping or seeding, and if they're going to be seeding, they're going to need fertilizer and all those other sorts of things. All of this is coming into play. And as you said, there's going to be potentially a huge demand for diesel. Our diesel comes from Singapore. We shouldn't have too much trouble. We've supposedly got access to American fuel reserves. And this is the other thing. Americans are now saying, oh, gee, the price of fuel's going up. America has more fuel reserves stored than any other country in the world, practically.
Because it's smart. Unlike our bloody stupid politicians, there is no reason. What the fuck, when we have oil coming out of our friggin' shores, that we are not refining our own oil? It is, excuse me, I'm going to swear, fucking critical infrastructure. We need it. We should have had it.
How is it that the Australian government could buy and have millions upon millions upon millions of litres stored in America? Right? We bought it, or we supplied it, rather, and it's stored for us in case of emergency. How is it that we got talked into selling that for $186 billion that the people of Australia were never made aware of? And as part of that agreement, we agreed not to refill those stores or ask for them to be refilled. That's a government who's going broke hand over fist and needed money hidden from the people so that they could keep paying their mates.
Yep, that's what my call. I mean, the more average Aussies get into one of those seats, the better off. It was interesting in those interviews that I've done so far, right? Except for Corey Bernardi, right? Just about every other candidate, there's about 4 or 5 that are apparently local councillors, right? But just about every other One Nation candidate, I've got this verified today, are just average Aussie people. They've not played in politics before. And I asked the question, how are you going to deal with the bureaucrats? And I loved her answer. She says, we've got a secret weapon. It's called Corey Bernardi. He knows how to navigate those holes like a missile.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey Bernardi studied how to obliterate bureaucrats at the very pinnacle of the sport at the UN. Yeah. When he became too hard for Turnbull to manage, Malcolm Turnbull to manage, Turnbull and his whole bunch of corrupt cronies engineered 3 months, I think it was, for Corey Bernardi to be taken out of the parliament, sent to New York, and where they, I have no doubt, tried very hard to wine and dine him. around to their way of thinking, and he came back and blew the whistle on them. Good luck to him. I hope it goes a long way. I'm a bit concerned about some of the advertising that's coming up in elections, and if it's South Australia is anything to go by, the Liberal Party are not spending a great deal on their commercial.
We want KD Singh in upper house.
Vote 1 for Liberals. KD Singh को जिताने के लिए vote 1 for Liberals.
Thing difference. I don't know what the hell they all said.
Sorry, it was the accent, right? The accents mingled in. They didn't quite get it all synced, which is a bit of a shame. But yes, and that is a legit ad because that is KD Singh. He is a Liberal Party person. One of many. I think when I was listing out all of the candidates for the South Australian elections, there are 5 Singhs sitting in various spots throughout the election. 5.
Well, you want to get the cricketer.
Sorry?
You want to get the cricketer. You don't want to be confused about that.
Yeah, well, this is true. Maybe we could. Well, look, put it this way: when we do the politician versus the average Australian team, at least we know we're going to get a decent set of Indian cricketers.
Well, there's an argument that the Australian cricket team is already fairly multicultural from a variety of countries, including European, where cricket was never part of the curriculum growing up. I think good luck to them, and I think it's wonderful that we have basically an entire Indian cricket team. I don't know why I was surprised to find an entire Indian cricket team playing a suburban association cricket, but that will be happening all over Australia. I would hope that those Indian teams are incorporating a few Aussies into them because we are the best fast bowlers in the world.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's very true indeed.
Yeah.
So
you guys haven't learned to spin yet.
That's an interesting ad, and it does make one question: just how many votes are there in relation to Indians that have immigrated to this country and become citizens?
Yep.
It would be just a very interesting statistic to look at. Not saying anything against the people. As you all know, my future son-in-law is Indian, so right. But I'd just be interested in the statistics. Mind you, he's a full-on Australian. He's been here since he was 3 years old. So
look, I don't care if they've been here 3 years. At the end of the day, if you love Australia, if you've come to be part of what we do and our lifestyle, and you'd prefer that than having to dig a hole and shit in it behind whatever little tree in the back of downtown Delhi you come from, God love you. Welcome to the country. Be part of it. Be part of it. You bring something so rich and so wonderful, including the food. God, I love Indian food. But you're coming to our country. We want you to be. You came here for a reason, presumably, because you like us and you want to learn how to bowl and bat better than you do back home. We'd love to teach you. You're more than welcome. But there is a responsibility for that. And at the moment, I'm afraid, a lot of the people that come over here are going into the service industry, and some of them at the moment are the service station industry. And being in the service station industry at the moment is pretty bloody good business. So I would hope maybe what we need to do is organise some sponsorship from, I don't know, 7-Eleven or somewhere like that, and see whether or not we can't help grow the business, because they're probably doing it pretty tough at the moment, I would say. All the petrol station owners.
You reckon?
I'm sorry.
Considering
no,
you're being facetious. You're tongue in cheek. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm being facetious. I had a conversation with somebody today who felt that my feelings on the matter might be a bit strong when I suggested, again, that the heads of these companies, the president, the board, whoever makes the decision to say, right, we're putting the price up this much today, and then they ring the next petrol company, Ampol might ring BP. BP were the ones robbing people today, I'll be honest. They all collude. They all say, we're going to put our price up to this. And they've been caught doing it heaps and heaps and heaps of times. And I will allege that they are doing it again. They are doing nothing but profiteering off the back of Australians. They are using the fear that has been generated simply by putting the price up to make more money.
Yeah.
When we have no reason to have a run on our fuel services. There might be a reason to have a run on the banks, but there is no reason to have a run on our fuel systems and our fuel services at the moment.
Yeah.
Speaking of
right.
runs, I was talking
Hang
to
on.
Wayne Bullion today.
Before you do, Crunchy
Oh,
8
yeah.
has asked, Vince, can you ask Pauline or someone close to her about Airbus Albanese? I don't know exactly how he wants to pronounce it, but we'll put her party in the hate group 1 year out. Mate, she's already aware of that. That's been brought up in multiple conversations. And secondly, they won't do that until it's like 3 months out, if they're going to do it at all, because they don't want to give them time to take it to the High Court and get it dismissed. So that's the trap. So if you want to, the more the word gets out that this is a plan that they can possibly use, the more we put that out and the more people learn that, the harder it's going to be for them to implement it. Okay, now we can go running to Ainsley. My segue
Ainsley.
to Ainsley.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done. Ainsley today had a very nice conversation with Michael. Michael Engerman, the CEO of Ainsley Bullion. Watch this space. There will be some new announcements from Ainsley coming out very shortly. I asked about supply. They are pretty much caught up on most of their big, sizable orders. In fact, anything a kilo and above now, I think, is pretty much caught up across the entire Ainsley business. There are some limitations still on smaller denominations, which would be half kilo, 10 ounce, 5 ounce, 1 ounce, 2 ounce. What are they and why is this so? So apparently what was decided by the refineries and the producers was that they would go through the orders and they would do massive runs of just one kind of bar. And that's essentially what they did. They started with the biggest weights and worked their way down. So that was in part why there was a delay in people getting their products. Those orders are now cleared. And if you go to the Ainsley website, you'll see that there's only one or two little, not available here or not available yet for certain 1 ounce or 5 ounce products. I think everything else was just about there. And if it isn't, Michael said to me today that they are receiving orders from the Perth Mint and their other suppliers every day now. So there's stuff turning up every day. He said there aren't too many people waiting anymore, but there may well be the odd one or two. If that is you, then I understand completely. But please be aware it is going to come to you, and I can promise you that because today I picked up my wedge-tail eagle, which I bought.
Got it.
Yeah. In fact, I got two of them. I bought these at Christmas time. And there was that's the 2025. And this one, which I am really loving, is the 2026 version. It's got two, there you go, two wedge-tail heads on it. Really nice. They're not making, if they made it in a kilo coin and I had 4,000 whatever it is dollars to buy a kilo of silver, I'd have one of those. But as it is, I got it, funnily enough, for about the same price as silver is at the moment, back before Christmas. So silver down to 116.40 at the moment. And talking with Michael about what silver and gold might do and how weird things have been and how wrong the Asian, not how wrong, but the Asian guy seems to be now going into survival videos, how to start a fire with wet wood, that kind of thing. He is still doing some analysis.
I'd really love to know who's raking any of those dividends off the ads and stuff that guy is getting. right?
Somebody in India is making
AI work. It's not real people like us. It's not whatever, as good as it might be. Crunchy, just for your question, yes, we will be on tomorrow night. I have made the decision because of the way things worked out with my family that I will be doing a coin toss every second weekend now. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow night. But anyway.
Very good. Very good. Now, messages through secure comms today. Everybody should get 1,000 XRP and be very happy. It'll be life-changing. Until I found out from you what the maths on getting 1,000 XRP was, I was very excited about that.
Yep.
What is your analysis of this desire to own at least 1,000 XRP?
It's based around the fact that they're looking, as XRP builds more and more into the back end of this global network of money shifting that they're talking about, that people, that the company Ripple will start buying XRP back from the people, therefore forcing the price to go up significantly. We've had quotes as high as $750 per XRP, etc. So if you imagine if you had 1,000 of them at $750, you know, you're doing pretty bloody well. All right?
Yeah.
That's what, 7.5 million or something stupid like that. Or maybe I added one extra zero. But the challenge is, who's got 2,200 Australian dollars right now to buy 1,000 XRP? Not me. Certainly not me. I mean, we're struggling to get him another laptop because this one might go bang. So, you know, I'm just having
a bit of a feel of the keyboard at the moment. It's not glowing red hot just yet, but we're doing all right.
So while I'm thinking about that, donations are gratefully accepted at Voice of Freedom's main website, vofhq.com. Anything that you want to put in there, we will graciously go towards either A, getting this one repaired, or B, buying another one that's not going to cook itself. So
this has been a stunning laptop, I have to say. It's been, I think, 3 years, and it's been turned off probably 3 times. It lives on 24 hours a day for the most part, for a variety of reasons. And look, doing a great job. Fingers crossed we can get it repaired. That's all. I wanted to talk about Sunflower's thing there. Where has that gone? Now I can't remember what she said. You've taken it away from me.
Sorry, my bad. I'll go back. That one?
That's the one. Why does the public have... Hello, Sunflower, you gorgeous thing, you. Hope you and Rick are doing all right. Did it rain up in your part of the world today? Why does the public have to pay for political ads when we all know that they're just businesses and not constitutional? The public doesn't pay for political advertising. So the parties or the individuals must pay. The parties raise money unlawfully.
Nope. Not now. In South Australia, the taxpayer is paying for it. It was legislation brought in by the South Australian government where they would allocate out of the South Australian funds monies to each party based on the votes they got last time, right? So you cannot do a political donation to a party. So all the advertising that One Nation's doing and all the advertising Lib Labours and stuff are all doing, those initial funds to run your campaign are effectively coming out of the taxpayer dollar.
This has to do with reaching the 4% threshold and the money they get back from each vote after that, which has gone up to $5 a vote now, can I point out? Is that where you're saying that money comes from?
No, that's on top of, right? So it's just using the bigger parties have got like something like $500,000 to spend, while smaller parties or new parties get fuck all, basically, to spend because they don't have a recorded vote count against them. It was a bill brought out by the Malinauskas government, and it personally sucks.
I think it's going to be rolled out across all state governments. I wonder if Christopher Foley's done it here. They did it under the guise of that would stop lobbying and it would stop, massive donations from billionaires and stuff like that. Put Clive Palmer right in the shit if it happened, but that's part of what's going on here in South Australia.
Sandy, you wonderful darling, but please, you've got donkeys to look after.
You do. And thank you to Pipe Master, who's done the same. He's put $10 in too. So thank you so much. I can't scroll back up and find you. There you go. Really appreciate that, mate. Goes a long way, as you know. Every little bit helps. And just between you, me, and the gatepost, Pipe Master, there are going to be some people on the cruise who might have an interest in your piping ideas. That's a bit cryptic, isn't it? Pipe Master is a man who knows pipe. Knows pipe. Really knows pipe. And what can I say without giving it all away? Look, if you are sick, if you were thinking about med beds, you know, we might be able to have a conversation about med beds. Apparently, they're already going to be released. Somebody was saying the other day. Haven't heard anything. Now, I have been offered, and if I'd have thought about it, I probably could have done it today. I would have been closer. But I've got to go back to the north side of Brisbane to do this. But I have been offered a free session in a Tesla machine. So I don't know if that means I'm going to test drive the new 6-seater battery-operated car that they expect Australians are going to fall over and fall in love with, or in fact it has something to do with some bulbs and some lights and some power and some things like that. But I believe that's more likely.
Right. So it's hang on to that big coil of wire, hang on to this big coil of wire, and let's just see how much that light bulb lights above your head. Yep.
I'm glad it's the head you're thinking is going to light up. So, yeah.
All right. Sorry, people, we're starting to get crude now.
50 billion with 45 billion XRP in escrow.
Yeah, I put that up because as far as I understand, I don't think there's a maximum cap on XRP. I could be wrong. I'd have to relook that up. But yeah.
Yes, Crunch, I will take the EMF reader with me. Thank you, mate. I'll make sure I keep whatever the Tesla things are at chest height, you know, radiate the booze.
Well, there was something else that popped into my mind, but then you made some joke and made me lose it. So thanks for that.
Sorry, I do have these days. Yeah. All right.
Merch.
Turns out there's been some news on Desi Freeman. Sorry, what was that?
I was just going to throw in a merch ad.
Oh,
right. And speaking of which, I do have I've got to send out to a couple of people who wish to sponsor the show, and we will get out our newest form to you very shortly, so you can have a look at that. But Absolutely. Please check out our merch. And that's what it was. I knew it had something to do with merch. We have had one order for a T-shirt for the cruise. Guys, if you are coming on the cruise, or if you know somebody is coming on the cruise, if you want a T-shirt that specifically denotes that I spent time with Carl on a cruise and threw him overboard. Oh, no, sorry, didn't mean that bit.
Yeah.
Please let us know with sizes, etc. Right? You can send an email to me, Vince, at vofhq.com, because Carl might miss it, right? And especially seeing he's getting thrown over. No, but or you're going to end up with a stubby holder. That's your choices.
Yeah, could be a stubby holder, could be a mug, might be a sticker. I mean, you know, depends how much. and look, we may not even get off the dock, because if, like you say, they might get enough diesel to arrive in Brisbane, but not enough to leave. So we could be having a cruise right off the Hamilton Wharf. That'd be great fun.
You know, that's right. They could get really smart, and instead of spending all that money that they would have spent on diesel, if they sold that or spent it as merch at our merch store, because these are such good quality T-shirts, they could sew them together and you could sail up there.
You're right. You're right. They are very good quality T-shirts, and I've put them both through the wash. I'm very pleased with the way they came. It wasn't a hot wash, cold water wash, but very pleased with the way that they came through. No shrinkage. Yep. No shrinkage. All looking good. Yeah. No, very, very, very impressed. All right, my friend, we've pratted, we've nattered, and we have reached the end of our week. Thank you again for everything that you do for the Voice of Freedom and for FBN Media. We will endeavour to get the girls on FBN Media. They've mentioned last night that they did their show and have put it out. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, we didn't get it on our FBN channel just yet, but that will happen over the weekend. And would advise you to go and have a look. 4 wonderful women out of Victoria who are discussing issues that are affecting them and affect all of us on greater and lesser levels. It's well worthwhile having a look at. I listened to half of it today while I was on the road and thoroughly enjoyed it. So look forward to getting that up on the FBN channel.
It's literally on that screen over there. I'm halfway through it right now, and it's Truth Talk Down Under, episode 1. So it's on the Rumble channel. We're hoping to put that up on the FBN channels as well. And there should, with any luck, be a link to this page, providing we can wrangle the girls to doing it.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to? They are wonderful ladies. They are exceptionally wonderful ladies. Just trying to catch them because they're so damn busy. All right.
Yeah, it's like herding cats.
So, yeah,
herding cats. Very difficult.
I wasn't going to say that. I was being politically correct. Have you not learned anything yet, Carl?
Mate, I was being politically correct when I said herding cats rather than making some kind of pussy joke. But seeing you've drawn me into it, wave goodbye. And that's it, folks. See, I try to do the best thing, and Vince drags it out of me. God love him. Hey, listen, you have yourselves a truly fabulous weekend. And if I could leave you with 2 thoughts for the weekend. The first one, as always, is please, please, please avoid the dickheads on the road. I saw so many of them today, some of them driving trucks, unfortunately. One in particular, and yes, he was of a certain flavour that you would hope wouldn't be driving a truck, but he was the outstanding dickhead of the day for me. So they are out there. Please avoid them. And the second thing I want to leave you with, and I want you to remember this all weekend, folks. Ayatollah in a coma. That's what he is. Da, 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 da. Ayatollah in a coma. Da, 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 da.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!